Hey everybody, it's Scott. This is my first video response. I'm just following suit of Chris. I think he's done a wonderful job of coming up with that instead of typing. If any of you have seen some of my posts, they can get very long-winded. I don't know if you can do that with fingers, but in any event, I do get very long in some of my writing, and I apologize for that. If nothing else, I hope it's at least informative. So anyway, that being said, if you hear a little background noise, I've got a little heater going on in my house. I'm freezing right now. I'm from the upper Midwest, and it's very cold where I live. So anyway, moving right along, the first thing I wanted to get to was Schuby 525 had talked about marketing to a certain clientele, and I've written in my posts some of the different opinions I guess I have or experiences, and one of them I wanted to bring up too and talk about was direct marketing in the form of direct marketing right to their house or their business. I know I mentioned possibly going to the business and passing out business cards or flyers or whatever, and that's a great thing and a great tool to utilize as well. Whatever you do, make sure that whoever's passing them out, whether it's you yourself or maybe you have somebody that you're going to pay to do it, make sure they're professional looking, well groomed, and you know, just looks nice. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that whatever it is you do, make sure it looks professional as well. Obviously, as I mentioned, neon paper and some boring fonts and design graphics that just don't look like your type of place are not going to send the type of message that you want. So make sure that you get somebody, whether it's somebody that you pay or somebody that's a friend of yours that can do it, that they're going to do it right and they're going to make it look the way that you want them to. It's very important, and as Chris is a good testament, he knows how to brand his place, and maybe just do a little bit of reading or research about what he's done, because he's done it very well. And just a little tidbit, Chris, I know you're not wearing that hat to market dirty. I know you're covering up a little less hair like me, but anyway, on a side note there, I just wanted to say that he does that very well. The direct marketing thing I wanted to bring up too was in regard to the fact that most direct marketing campaigns will bring a rate of return of about 1.5 to 2%. Sometimes they'll get as high as 3% from what I've experienced and heard in the past. We actually did one ourselves and got between 4 and 5% in return, so we were more than happy with what we did. And all we did with ours for our local bar restaurant was just put menus on the front of doorsteps. And the reason we put menus is because we had a lot of food in our place, and actually had a lot of promotions within our menu as well. So it talked about what type of food we had and what promotions we had going on throughout the week, and what nights we were open, our hours of operation, and so on and so forth. So that was one thing that we did, and that may be the route that you're going to want to go as well. The other thing I was going to mention is newspaper is definitely an option, obviously. If you're trying to get to that upper end clientele that's going to spend more money, then I would think business people reading the newspaper are going to be the type of person you're going to want to reach. Sure, a lot of people are going to read the newspaper and look right past the ads. I'll definitely agree with that. But of course, you can get those that will actually read them and keep it in the back of their mind. If nothing else, you do want to create top of mind awareness. That's a very big thing in this industry, and that's going right along with constantly doing advertising, whether it's radio, TV, print, whatever. You constantly want to be at the top of their mind. And Haven, if you're following along on this, I want to mention to you too that that's the one thing that you constantly want to do if you can. I know that there's a lot of things that you're trying to do as well, and I commend you for that. I think that's great. But whatever it is that does finally catch on, don't give up on that. Maybe really push that home. I found that our radio ads took about 2 to 2.5 months before people would finally start coming in and tell us that they heard them. And that was kind of a downer for us, but it just goes to show that it does take time, so you just got to stick with it. The other thing I was going to mention too is I know I haven't mentioned the wow factor. What is that? Real briefly, the wow factor can be anything that causes you to remember the place. The easy things such as great service, good food, being attentive, being friendly, and simply smiling are things that a lot of people will remember when they go to a place. If some of you want to chime in and have your own opinions on the wow factor, I greatly appreciate that. I think you should. Chris, I'm sure, can give you a few tips here and there too. But it's no different than if you go out to a place. What is it that you remember about a place when you go out to it? Is it the fact that they opened the door for you and they were kind when you came in and said, thanks for joining us, welcome to our place? Or was it the fact that when you left, there was somebody opening the door for you as well and saying, thanks for coming, please come again? I know a lot of people don't have the budget or the resources to have somebody on staff to be a door person, but if you do, by all means do it. It is well worth the money, and I'm sure Chris would even agree too. He's got door people out there as well, and I know that he probably preaches to them to be friendly, to be nice, and courteous, because you want to go out and you want to relax in a place that is going to be welcoming and is going to want to make you feel like they want you there. As soon as they start to make you feel like you're not wanted, you're probably not going to stay there. So the wow factor can be just about anything, but just real simply, it's just the basics. Servicing them, being attentive, remembering things, filling their water, filling their drinks, remembering their drinks, calling them by name. Haven, I know you've probably done the best job as far as getting to know your guests right away initially, and that's going to be one of the things that's going to be the real wow factor for your type of establishment. Hopefully you can get a good staff in there and they can bring the wow factor along with them as well, or you can teach it to them. And before long, everybody will just be saying, hey, I'm going to go to that bar because I like it. Anyway, that being said, that's my first post. I hope you like it. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.